NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, what is your biggest takeaway from Game 1?
My biggest takeaway, Jen, is that Milwaukee has a serious problem. And that problem is that they can't guard Phoenix. Oof. All right, I said yesterday that going into this game and this series, what I wanted to see was what Milwaukee did with Phoenix's pick and roll and how they guarded it. Could they stop it or slow it down? Now, the pick and roll, every team runs the high pick and roll. That's not unusual. What's unusual, though, is most teams in the league, when they run the high pick and roll, they're not looking for a mid-range jump shot. They're looking for something at the rim or a three-pointer to set up a three-point shot. Well, Phoenix will say, we'll take that mid-range shot, thank you very much, with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Now, Milwaukee made an adjustment. They started off the game switching the high pick and roll. So that's why you saw Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis and all these other bigs guarding Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And what happens? Devin Booker goes for 12 points in the first quarter. Chris Paul goes for 11 in the second. Eventually, Milwaukee goes back to his regular coverage, and that changed nothing. Obviously, Chris Paul feasted on it in third quarter with the drop coverage with 16 points. Now, the problem is if they send the big up to challenge the mid-range shot, that leaves stuff open for DeAndre Ayton at the rim, and you saw that last night. So here's what the deal was. Chris Paul gets 32, Devin Booker gets 27, DeAndre Ayton gets 22. Now, you might say, well, that's one game. No, this is a pattern. The 3 games they've played this year, Phoenix has won all 3. I know the first 2 were close. But the pattern is that those 3 stars all feast on Milwaukee's defense. Chris Paul is averaging 27 points now against Phoenix in the 3 games this year. That's more than he averaged against any other team by far. Devin Booker's giving you 27 against Phoenix in these 3 games. That's about what he does. DeAndre Ayton's giving you 20 a game against Phoenix. That's more than all but 2 other teams he played against this season. The Phoenix Suns in the 3 games against Milwaukee, one of the best defenses in the league, are averaging nearly 124 points. Phoenix has been scoring 106 points a game in the playoffs, and they go for 118 last night and didn't even shoot well from 3. So that's my biggest takeaway is that Milwaukee, we have a problem.
I agree. I thought the Suns were really aggressive also, Chris. You shoot 26 free throws. They make 25 of those. You look at Devin Booker. He's looking, as you mentioned, he's looking to get to the rim. He's looking to get to the mid-range, although he was 1 of 8 from three-point line, like you mentioned. But I didn't expect to see closeout Chris. I expected him to get 20, 22 points, 10 or 11 assists. I did not see this type of scoring output. Now, we were talking about it, and I've been celebrating up here with my Dutinis. Thanks to Skip Bayless gave me that 2015. Told you that was going to happen. I'm going to send you some of these old Dutini mix that I got going on. I'm thinking about making one of these. You want to go in partnership with me?
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn. Look, the one thing that you can't have happen, Chris, is that Holiday is going to have to play better. I believe Giannis will play better because he will trust that knee more. It was his first game back in about a week. Because if I'm not mistaken, Skip, he hurt that knee last Tuesday. Because he missed Thursday and Saturday game. So it was a week. I believe he'll trust the knee more. He'll be more aggressive. Of the starters, only P.J. Tucker took fewer shots than Giannis. That can't happen. That won't happen. But Milwaukee's big 3 can't get outscored by Phoenix's big 3 by 22. That cannot happen. I don't believe it'll happen. I believe the Suns will win game 2. But they will play better. They have to play better. But Giannis is going to have to be more aggressive, and Holiday is going to have to play better. It's as simple as that. Or they're going to get swept.
They are going to get
They're
swept.
not. Stop saying
My
that.
turn. Yesterday on this show, about this time, my friend Chris Broussard pushed me. What's your pick? Who are you picking? I said, tell me if Giannis is going to play or not. Did I not say that?
You did.
And you said, I don't know, maybe by game 3. And I think Chris said something about, who knows, maybe by game 3. Right. I need to know, and then I'll give you a pick. Giannis played last night, so I'll give you a pick. Suns in 4. first guessed this. I'm not the 20/20 hindsight this guy is sitting across from me. I first guessed it a week ago. This team plays better in big playoff games without Giannis. There's something missing in his psyche. He is not an alpha. He is not that guy. He does not have a killer will. He is not a takeover superstar that we've seen the greats be. He has superstar ability. He can win back-to-back MVPs. He can be the PER prince. But when it comes to big games and big moments in playoffs, he'll put up numbers that don't translate. They don't rub off. He does not make other players better around him. He is not contagious. I can show you flame out after flame out after flame out in his playoff resume dating back to 2015 when they lost by an average of 21 points in that series against the Bulls. Then against the Raptors in 2017, they lost by an average margin of defeat of 11. The next year by an average margin of defeat of 10. I can just keep on going all the way to the bubble last year when the Heat took them all apart in games 1, 2, and 3, and they lost that series by an average margin of defeat of 9 points. He's not that guy. He's great in the regular season, I give you that. But the whole team's body language changed last night with him back in the lineup. I watched them win games 5 and 6 against Atlanta, and I watched Chris Middleton say, I'm free. I'm unleashed. I can go back to being an all-star. I watched Jrue Holiday say, oh, now I can be a star again. I watched Brook Lopez turn back into Brooklyn Brook against Atlanta. Look what Chris Middleton averaged in those last two games. 29, 9, and 8, almost a triple-double. And simultaneously, Holiday, 26, 8, and 11 in those last two games against the Hawks. Almost a triple-double. Brook Lopez averaged 23 and 4 blocks a game because he can defend the low post. So I made 2 bets with this man across from me. I took the Bucks without Giannis, and he gave me 6, and I would have won the game. I believe they would have stolen the game without. Well, we'll never know, but I've been really good. If you look at my track record on this show and other shows I've been on, my upset specials have had a long history of connecting. And this one would have connected, and I would have won my 8 bet if Brook Lopez had guarded him. Brook Lopez didn't guard Ayton last night. Guess who? Giannis guarded him. And guess what? He got those numbers because Giannis isn't physical enough. He's not tenacious enough. He doesn't have the stature to stop him in the low post. He got those numbers he got by accident. Like he's just 7 feet tall, just diving to the rim, and occasionally there's, oh, look, there's a lob. I'll just dunk it.
Can I ask you a question? What would you say? How was Giannis in Game 6 and 7 against the Nets? Was he good? Was he okay?
Yeah,
was he great?
It was Kevin Durant going 1-on-5. James Harden was a shocking shell of himself, and there was no Kyrie.
I'm saying, how was Giannis?
And Joe Harris, I don't know. They're still looking for him in Brooklyn right now.
I'm just saying, well, how was Giannis, though? Would you say Giannis' performance was
pretty good?
Pretty good?
He made one shot in overtime, but who was the killer was Middleton. He made the biggest shots.
But, Skip, this is what we know. Middleton hasn't been the most efficient guy. Holiday has had a game here or there, but Holiday hadn't played well in all of these playoffs. Look at him against the Nets. He had a game here or there, but it was not efficient. Look at him against Atlanta. He wasn't efficient. Skip, look, I just believe Giannis is going to get more than 11 shots. Chris, you think they can win with Giannis taking 11 shots? When he averages 18, 19, maybe 20?
He'll take more, and they'll lose by 20 next time.
Better not lose by those 20.
Yep, they just lost by 13. Giannis puts up big numbers, and they put up big losses. That's what happens.
This is crazy.
No, it's right.
There is no evidence whatsoever that the Milwaukee Bucks are better without Giannis. They barely are a playoff team without Giannis in the East.
Yeah.
They were 6-5 skipping the regular season without Giannis. And they didn't beat one playoff team.
Then
they beat an Atlanta team that ain't that good to begin with. That was a 5th seed. And then Atlanta's playing without its best player.
Not in Game 6.
There was no one on that Atlanta roster that's ever going to make an all-star team, except maybe in the future, Cam Reddish.
I didn't hear about this against Philadelphia.
Maybe.
All I heard was Trae Young has emerged. He's a superstar.
Well, Trae Young was healthy. Trae Young, my point is, in the 2 games without Giannis, Trae wasn't playing. He wasn't himself. That was clear. Just like you said Harden was a shell of himself, Trae was a shell of himself. And then, even if what you said, which I'm not buying all that, but if let's just for sake of argument, if Giannis doesn't have the killer will or whatever, who on Milwaukee does? Chris Middleton's about to carry a team by himself to a championship?
No.
There's no way.
Okay.
Chris Middleton is not, he's a really nice player and he's a star. But he's not a superstar. Drew Holiday, let me go back to being a star. He's a one-time All-Star, and that was years ago. I mean, Brook Lopez?
Look at the numbers he put up in games 5 and 6.
When he was a low post
26, 8, and 11 for Drew Holiday.
He's twice as big as Clint Capella.
Did you see how hard they guarded in 5 and 6? Their whole body language was different. You want to talk about tenacious D?
Skip,
they played it against Atlanta. They looked flat and lifeless last night.
No, they didn't. That's what sounds good.
It's a little easier. Is it not easier to guard Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish and Bogdanovich and Danilo Gallinari
and Trae Young
and Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton?
Yep.
Trey was hurt.
He was not that hurt. He looked fine to me.
Well, how did Milwaukee look against your Nets?
How'd they look?
Yeah.
I told you it was 1-on-5. How'd Kevin Durant look? He looked like the best player on the planet to me.
Where is he?
Huh?
He had one of these with me this morning.
Yeah. Well, he's not toasting. He's not
he had
celebrating.
One of them. He ain't playing basketball. So Giannis must have did something right in Game 6 and 7 because your guy had a 2-0 lead, and he had his Game 7 on his home court. So Giannis did something right.
1-on-5.
Oh, he wasn't no 1-on-5.
My guy, he put up as virtuoso a performance in 2 games as you'll ever see. So way beyond what your guy Lagon could do.
So, Chris, if I'm hearing Skip correctly, if you're hearing him correctly, it wasn't so much what the Suns did, their big three. It was what Giannis and the Bucks didn't do.
They're just a different team with him in the lineup. What's your eye test tell you? What did they look like last night?
They look like a team that got beat by a better team last night.
They look like a team that's going to get swept.
They're not getting swept.
Yeah. Well, I'm answering Chris's question. I say Phoenix in 4. How about that?
Do you want to bet that?
That's all I need to know.
And if Giannis wasn't playing, let's just for sake of for kicks and giggles, if Giannis wasn't playing, what would your pick be?
If Giannis wasn't playing, they would have won Game 1.
That wasn't winning no Game 1 without Giannis.
It was the classic trap game.
He was good last night.
Who?
Giannis.
He wasn't great, but he was good.
20 and 17?
I think he actually died. I think he was less aggressive because he was watching them in the 2 games without him and said, okay, the ball's moving. I see Drew getting his, Chris, Brooke, and I think he was less aggressive. His 11 shots, that's the fewest he's taken in any playoff game this season other than the game he got hurt early in the third quarter.
How about if I show you one play? Let me show you one play on which he didn't actually get a shot up. This was with 4:20 left in the game when they did have a chance to cut it all the way back to 7 points. They were down 9. If we can see what Giannis did, catches it, he dribbles it, he dribbles it, he dribbles it, he dribbles it, and Cam Johnson just takes it away from him. That's classic. That's what they do. That's who they are with Giannis in the post. Dribbling. Yeah, he'll put up some numbers. You look at the stat sheet, that's pretty good. They're all empty calories. They don't translate. They're not contagious.
Yeah, they didn't play well last night. It's one game. When have you known is this overreaction to Wednesday?
They shot pretty well. They outshot the Suns from the 3-point line. You're always on them about they shoot 2-3.
They do.
Well, they shot 44%, but 16 to 36.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's very good.
They
still lost.
They out-rebounded Phoenix by 4, and they still lost.
Yes.
Because there's something missing when Giannis is in the lineup. You know it not. You know I've been all over this. I first guessed it. I will last guessed it. There we go.
So if they lose, it's going to be because Giannis was in the lineup.
You got it.
Man, the man is a 2-time MVP.
Okay, do you know how many times we have talked about Giannis flameouts in the playoffs? We don't have enough show for me to go through all the flameouts. Do you remember what happened in the bubble, the first 3 games against Miami when everybody was ready to coronate Milwaukee? What happened? What were the numbers for Giannis? They were dramatically different than they were in the regular season.
So if they didn't have Giannis, they would have beat the Bucks. They would have beat the Heat.
No, I'm just saying once they get to big playoff games, they play better without him.
that's the thing is that, look, even if you want to rip Giannis because he hadn't performed well in the playoffs at times, this Bucks team is not that good without him. That's the problem. Like, they don't have a shot without him. If he were to win this championship, guess what he'd be doing in the super team era? Winning it without a super team. Winning it without a second superstar. That would be huge. This team without him is not that good. They have no shot at beating Phoenix without Giannis.
Yet they have 3 other players who have made all-star teams, correct?
Yeah, True
Brooke years ago, Drew years ago, Middleton, now he's made a few. Because the Bucks record is usually...
Yeah, well, let's have Lopez ain't made one this decade.
Brooke Lopez blocked 4 shots a game in the last 2 games against Atlanta. He looked like Brooklyn Brook.
Skip, stop.
He's 7'1" and weighs 300 pounds.
Brooklyn was getting like 6 rebounds a game, 7 rebounds a game. He scored. He could score, but he couldn't rebound.
This man is pinning his hopes on Brooke Lopez. He says Brooke Lopez. He's talking about Brooke Lopez.
I'm saying he can guard DeAndre Ayton way better than Giannis can. He can. Just a year ago, he made second-team all-defense and was second in block shots in the NBA. Yes, he can guard him better. Giannis is way overrated as a defender. He's too light in the back end.
Well, your guy too slow.
Skip, it's not about being behind the guy as he posts up and muscling him and all that.
Yes,
That's not what happens anymore. Ayton is moving. Ayton is catching lobs when Brooke or Giannis or whoever the big is comes to stop Chris Paul. So Brooke can't do anything with that.
Oh, stop it. Every time I looked up against the Clippers, Ayton was making some move on Big Zoo, going to the baseline, shooting jump shots. Stop it.
He gonna do that on everybody.
Yeah, well, Brooke Lopez would say, no, you can't do it. He's a shot blocker. He's a rim protector. Genuine.
Yeah, he blocking a little 6 foot. He ain't blocking no Ayton shot.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten whatever he got last night on Brooke Lopez.
He got me a martini.
Yeah.
That's what you want. This all is about a martini.
Oh, yeah.
He lost the bet. He's going to lose some more, too.
I'm up 35 cases, and that's just this year, this calendar year. For 5 straight years, I've won like 30 cases a year from you, and you're over there gloating?
I am.
Where's your gloat mask today?
Gloating
Oh,
is
that's
not even
right.
upset about
Lagon
it.
is gone.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Chris, we're going to finish our martinis back here. We appreciate you joining us. The finals, I know, just got started, but going to be very interesting. We'll check in with you soon.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.